I hear it.
Yay, we're recording. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Healthy Living, Happy Life podcast. I'm Denise Stiegel, your host. And today we are diving into the world of truly powerful healing foods. If you've ever wondered what sustainability and potency look like in your pantry, you're in for a treat. I'm really excited today. I am joined by Malvika Mohan and Ushma Patel, and they are the founders of Humble Origins Superfoods. Superfoods, um, a company that is redefining what it means to source high quality, ethically harvested ingredients. Ooh, this is exciting. They bring rare and potent spices straight from Northeast India, and they're going to tell you more about this during our conversation. Again, they're ethically sourced, they're deeply rooted in tradition, and packed with a bunch of wellness benefits, a lot of, yeah, wellness benefits, everyone. Their mission really is simple but profound to connect people with the most vibrant healing superfoods on the planet while ensuring sustainability, fairness, and purity at every step. So, today, we're going to explore their journey. We're going to learn about the health benefits of these ancient spices and talk about how these are helpful for all people. But again, we're going to touch on menopausal women and how menopausal women can incorporate them into their lives. Also, it's so important nowadays to know where your food is coming from. So, everybody, grab a cup of tea. I love my cup of tea. We'll talk about the tea later too. Settle in and let us get started. So, welcome, Ushma.
You.
And so Malvika, you are Molly.
I go by Molly.
Go by
My
Molly.
full name is Malvika, so a lot of my friends and family call me Molly, but people outside that, a lot of them call me Malvika. So whichever one is easier.
I love Molly. I think it's a lovely personal name. So I will call you Molly if you don't mind.
No
So
problem.
Molly,
No problem. Yeah.
Ushma, thank you so much for being here with
Yeah,
us today.
absolutely.
So I'd like to start
Mhm.
the conversation. How did you guys meet, and kind of the backstory of where this all began, and
Yeah.
then from there we'll get into the thick of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ushma and I have been friends for over 21 years. My husband's name is Ritesh and hers is Ricky. They met at college. So I guess Ritesh and I were the first ones to get married. And then the year after us getting married, Ushma and Ricky got married. So that's how I met Ushma. Yeah, so we've been good friends ever since. And it's been great. I mean, we have a great working relationship. We're good friends, and we're pretty open with each other too. So that's how we decided, hey, let's partner up and come up with something we're passionate about.
Wonderful. Ushma,
Mhm.
where is home for you guys?
So we are in Atlanta, Georgia. And as you know, Atlanta is quite big. And so Molly actually lives about an hour and 15 minutes away from where I am.
Okay.
She's up in Marietta, Kennesaw area, and I'm on the other side in the Suwannee, Johns Creek area, definitely outside the perimeter. But yeah, as Molly was saying, our husbands are friends, but we've also had children together, which has been really nice. Our children we go on trips together, we go on hikes together. And the girls, I've got two girls, she's got a son and a daughter, and they are all such good friends. And now that they're older and driving, they're actually getting together without us getting them together, which definitely
Nice.
helped, right? To know that we've actually raised a group of kids that like each other, not just because their parents are friends.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. Okay, so you guys have known each other for a while. You've raised children
Mhm.
um, together an hour and a half away. Now I know this is a newer project, so obviously you guys both have a job career prior to this. So tell us a little bit about your backgrounds there in career and business, and how did that play into, or how did that play into where you are today?
So, I before I had kids, I worked in telecommunications. I was in banking as well. So once I had my children, I decided to stay home for a few years, right? And then after that, what ended up happening was then I think I tried to go back to work, a few years ago, and I did realize that we were used to a certain lifestyle where I would cook a lot more at home, and I would try to incorporate healthier foods in our diet because a lot of the food I would cook would be home cooked food. We were the type of family that would eat fast food maybe once or twice a month max. So I thought we were eating healthier, but then what ended up happening with us was when I started working, of course, we studying a little bit more processed food because just faster it was easier. And
It's
I think
easy.
a lot of people face that. That's just the reality of it. And between being a soccer mom too during that time, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can relate. Is like, okay, you work, or you're busy during the day, then you run out the door, you have practice, and you got your weekend travel game. So it was a lot. So during that time, I did realize for me personally that we faced a few health issues. I mean, nothing crazy, nothing too bad, but I could tell a huge difference in the way we felt and just some of our numbers. So that's when we started, or at least we both started researching on just healthier ingredients and just healthier food that you can put in your everyday food. Because I mean, honestly, not a lot of people have the time to make these huge elaborate meals that would last, that would take hours. So that's how I guess we started talking about the ingredients. Ingredients make a huge difference. And then
Absolutely.
the eye-opening thing for me personally was, like when I traveled abroad, either Iceland or, other countries as well, we didn't limit ourselves to food. I mean, I ate the croissants. I ate, I didn't
You're in
have
Paris,
issues.
eat a croissant or
Right.
two or three.
Exactly. But we felt great, didn't have
Mhm.
gut issues, didn't have issues at all. And so when we came back, it was a huge eye opener for us. Okay, what is going on? It's not like we have a very unhealthy, we're not unhealthy people. So I don't understand why we still have health issues,
Mhm.
why we feel the way we do. So that's when we started to dive into researching what ingredients can help kind of balance you out,
Mhm.
because I can't tell my 16-year-old, hey, you can't eat pasta. That's just not,
Right.
Right.
I mean, that's just not doable and it's not
Can't
fair.
tell a 50-year-old girl that either.
Right.
You
That's
know,
how I decided to
yeah,
dive into, the research on
Mhm.
some of the ingredients. I'll let
right.
Ushma go ahead,
But yeah,
Ushma.
it's interesting, right? So you
Hmm.
hear Molly and her background, and we've been friends for so long. We actually lead the opposite lifestyle. So when we got married, I was definitely into my career. I had the children. I was a better mom because I was a working mom. I traveled for work. So I worked in advertising and marketing, which is actually pretty cool because now with this business, I've been actually be able to bring all of my skills that I've learned throughout the years and the things that I've done for other clients to do for myself, which is the most rewarding thing, right? So yeah, no, we live very opposite lifestyles. My children are dancers, her children are soccer sports kids. My husband and I, our family, we do eat meat. And we do go to fast food restaurants, right? It's because of, again, the lifestyle we live, right? I do try to cook. My younger daughter loves to cook. So she probably does more of the cooking than I do now. But yeah, I love to host parties. So, the idea that we're doing this together is interesting because I also went through some health issues and diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, right? And everything is autoimmune now, right? And how do you fight that?
Yeah, it's kind of a buzzword.
It's a buzzword now, and they like, oh, we can't diagnose you, so it's an autoimmune situation, right? And instead of trying different medicines and stuff, I went gluten-free, and then I tried to eat dairy-free, and then again with this busy lifestyle, and I traveled for work. It was hard to do that, but I had to do it, right? So Molly and I, our families, we were at a local festival here in town called the Dogwood Festival. We try to go every year with the kids and other friends. And we were just talking about all this stuff, how life has come full circle here. And we started talking about like organic foods and what should we be eating. And, Molly and her family were really into it. And I was like, I need to start getting into this. And so, yeah, that idea just started at this festival one day. And then fast forward a couple of months, Molly calls me and she's like, we should really do this. I've done some research. We need to find a resource. We need to find a supplier. And that was, I think, like May or June. And then in October, we got our our business license. Like
Mhm.
we're gonna do this. So
Wow.
yeah, it came around pretty fast. We talked about it in April, got our license in October. So yeah, it's been life changing. But again, my point is we're two different people. We lead two different lifestyles. Opposites attract, I guess, right?
Well, I think this is like as you say. I'm glad you guys told me this because I think both of you are most people either fit into Molly's world or Ushma's world, right?
Right. Right.
Right. And
Yes,
it's not, one is better than the other. They're different,
right.
right? But we still end up with the same struggles. We're not eating
Yes.
right. We're not taking the time to cook at home because I
Right.
think we have this idea that cooking at home is hard and it has to take a long time.
It's
Like
not.
think of holiday meals, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, I, do- I consider myself a chef, an amateur chef, though I do have a professional plant-based certification.
Mhm.
Love that.
Um, I did that because I was trying to learn ways to help my clients to incorporate more healthy foods into their diet. Just like you guys are talking about, bringing healthier products and healthiher ingredients into diet. So this is so exciting because yes, like you guys are like the yin and the yang
Oh, we totally are, right?
humble origins. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband
Okay.
said that too, right? So our thing was also like what would work for everyone because Ushma and I are so different, right? Like I come
Yes.
Mhm.
from a vegetarian family. My whole family's vegetarian. They eat meat. We are so
Mhm.
different. So what ingredients that are nutritious and beneficial and high quality would work for everyone, no matter what
Mhm.
your diet is? Because I mean, we already know like a lot of diets fail
Yeah.
because they're hard to maintain.
Yeah.
So
And it's
Diet
hard
is
to
a
tell
four-letter
someone.
word, a bad four-letter word.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they
It's hard
don't
to
work.
stick to them, right? And you don't want somebody to think, oh, to eat healthier, I've got to change my entire
Right.
lifestyle. I got to go start buying these really weird ingredients that I'm not going to use forever. And then they go spend a lot of money on stuff, right? But again, it's the idea of just simple changes, small changes that can actually have a long-term effect that's actually chemical free, right? It's more natural to do it this way versus putting a bunch of drugs into your system.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we hear this all the time, and I talk about this all the time. If you're going to, your body needs the minerals and the vitamins and the support of
Mhm.
real food. Now, these are real food ingredients.
Yes.
So, of course, it's much better to put real food into eat to use real food as opposed to a supplement. Now,
Yeah.
supplements have their place, but how many people, and we're going to talk a little bit about turmeric in a minute, but how many people are taking turmeric capsules?
Yeah.
Right.
And are they taking it appropriately? And are they absorbing it? And all that fun stuff. And so we'll
Yeah.
get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay,
Absolutely.
so you guys have decided October, you got your license. How did you decide on the type of ingredients you wanted to present and how did you find where you were going to source them? Like it's like that's a big deal. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
these
No.
are not things you can just find in your farmer's market. Well, you can find some things, but not exactly the
Yeah.
same things that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let Molly take that one because she's again more of the ingredients, the holistic, the natural, and then I can take the business side of
Okay,
the question.
very good.
Yep.
So what ended up happening is like I was telling you earlier, I was trying to research what ingredients work the best, right? Now, culturally for us, including my grandma and Ushma will tell you the same thing, her grandma, her mom, they would cook at home and they would use all these different spices. Indian food does have a lot of spices. Now they would use these
Flavor.
spices and all they would say was, I was like, okay, mom, why are you using this? Oh, it's just good for you. But nobody explained to us why it's good for you, right? Because it's so ingrained in us just to add a teaspoon of this, a teaspoon of this. And nobody tells you why though.
It's true.
So yeah. And then I was trying to look at then I started researching inflammation, what would help with that. And of course, turmeric is one of the big things out there. I had no idea there was so many different types of turmeric.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
they're
did
like,
not either.
yeah, there are different types of turmeric out there. So then our issue was, okay, so which one is good? So then we came across Lakadong turmeric. Now, Lacadon turmeric, the reason it's as good as it is because it has between 7 to 9% curcumin. And what curcumin is that's what gives it its anti-inflammatory properties. That's what gives it its color, the smell. So all the potency comes from that. Now, the ones you get in your grocery store, even Whole Foods, is only 2 to 3%. So just think
That's
about
a big
that.
difference.
Oh
The
gosh,
difference.
that's a huge difference. So a little bit goes a long way. So half a teaspoon, obviously, you'll get a lot with the Lacadon turmeric. Then I guess we were lucky enough to meet a family friend who's based out of Mumbai that's equally passionate about all the spices and everything, all the health benefits. So talking to him, so Ushma and I had multiple conversations with him, and he gave us a little bit more knowledge on certain things. And he's been taking Lacadon turmeric for a while too. So we're like, okay, let's look into it, because for us it was important there were no additives or chemicals in the spices. That's really important. Like even before this, like I would actually spend more just to make sure all my ingredients were clean. I mean, as clean as I thought it was, right?
Right.
So through talking to him, we decided to try it out. So Ushma and I, we got our samples in and we actually tried it out for a few months, before we even decided that this is what we're going to do. So, and that's how, we landed on this. So, we did our research. We wanted to make sure it's from a state like, Ushma mentioned earlier, that's clean. They use traditional farming methods. And, what else do they grow there? What else are the benefits of all the products? But they are known for Lacadon turmeric. So
Because
Meghalaya.
Lakadong is actually a village there. It's actually a town there where it only grows there. So if
Mhm.
somebody tells you you've got Lakadong turmeric and there's a lot of different fake varieties of it, Target's website has Lakadong turmeric on it, but then there's a New Jersey sign on it. So there's different, I mean, and it could be for sure, right? But there is Lakadong turmeric has a GI tag, which is called a geographical indication tag. So we know it's from there, and those folks are the only ones that can say that they have Lakadong turmeric because it's a village and that's where it's grown in Meghalaya,
Wow.
India. Yeah.
Okay, so I have some right here in front of me. And I know you have some new packaging. Look
Yes.
how beautiful that is, everyone. Such a beautiful color.
Yeah. And your screen doesn't do it justice, but it is
No, the screen really
simplified.
doesn't. Oh, that doesn't help either. The screen really doesn't
Yeah.
do it justice. This is the most vibrant, brilliant color, turmeric that I have ever seen ever. And
Yeah.
like I said, with my plant-based cooking certification, we did all sorts of spices, and I wish I had this when I was taking that
Yes.
course,
Yeah.
because like you said, the flavor little
Mhm.
goes a long way, but there is a very different flavor profile
Yes.
with this turmeric than anything that I have ever purchased in the store.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we found, and just through research, I mean, there's several articles out there that spices have fillers in them, right? People are trying to sell them, make them go a long way, the economy, all those things, right? So it was really important for us to find ingredients that we knew were 100% pure, and we knew where they were coming from. They haven't exchanged hands several times. They've gone through different packaging companies. Like we wanted to make sure we knew exactly where these ingredients were coming from. And so Lakadong turmeric was just one of them. And from a business perspective, it's like, okay, we need to sell more than just Lakadong turmeric. And so again, this family friend, him and his dad had done all this research. They had actually traveled across India to find the purest ingredients during COVID because they didn't want to have medicine and all that stuff. So he told us about all these ingredients, but we landed on just 5. We're like, we're going to start with 4 ingredients and then one medley. So it was Lakadon turmeric, and then Makhir ginger, and Makhir is also a region of Meghalaya where the land is different, and the soil is different, the air is different. So it's Makhir ginger, and then we also are going to do perilla seeds, which is very new, right? Actually, in the
I have those
Western
upstairs.
world,
Yeah.
perilla seeds aren't really widely known. We've only come across, in the 2 years that we've been working together, we've only come across like 1 or 2 people who know what perilla seed is. So that's something we wanted to introduce because of the health benefits of a perilla seed and what it does. And then the other one that we introduced was a wild long pepper.
Mhm.
Um, and really that's what it's called. And it looks very different than your regular peppercorn.
It
It's
does.
longer. I
Actually
kind of think
have
of it
one.
like as a mini pine cone almost, right? But
Here's,
is
and
that
this,
where it
look,
is?
everyone, that's exactly what it looks like. It does. It looks like a mini pine cone. Actually has
Yeah.
like little ridges like a pine cone would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing I could think of. I'm like, this looks like a pine cone, especially when we received it, right? But it's got a different type of heat. And what we've done in our family is literally replaced all our
Mhm.
peppercorns, and that's what's in my pepper mill now. So, your salt, your table salt and pepper it, that is my pepper that we use for everything because just the health benefits. And again, incorporating these ingredients into your daily activity. So the 4 ingredients we picked were things that we know people could eat and use
Mhm.
easily, right? They didn't have to go find a recipe for it. And then the fifth one was a medley. And Molly,
Mhm.
if you want to talk about the medley, because you've been using it much longer than I have.
Yeah. No, no, no,
Medley.
absolutely. So
Yep.
the so the immunity boosting medley that we have has 5 ingredients in there. And I've been drinking it for over 18 months now, I'd say 16 to 18 months. And I've felt a huge difference with inflammation. I don't get sick as often. And if I do, I recover a lot faster.
Yeah.
Not to say you won't get sick. I mean, everybody gets, a little sick, but you recover a lot faster. So the 5 ingredients in that particular medley are the Lacadon turmeric being the main one, where you get your 7.5% curcumin. Then we have a maca ginger in there too, which is really good for digestion. We've got long pepper in there too for respiratory health. So that helps with that.
And your
We've
gut.
Yeah, and your gut. And we have cinnamon in there,
Mhm.
which is, blood sugar regulation. And we have cardamom in there too, which is really cooling for your system. So the immunity boosting medley is what my whole family, we drink that every single day.
Yep.
Mhm.
And since we've been doing this, again, we wanted to test our products, right? We didn't want to just sell something that we weren't passionate about, like we didn't believe in. So
Hmm.
after several months of us using it ourselves, we did decide, yeah,
Hmm.
this actually does make a difference. You just feel better. And
Mhm.
going back to what you said about the taste, right? Like turmeric, everybody's like, oh, turmeric's got a weird taste, but being so fresh, it does taste really good. I mean, my
Mhm.
children who would have never done a turmeric shot do turmeric shots now. Like, oh, this tastes different. We make different lattes out of them, right? You can incorporate them into anything. And we try to drink a latte before we go to bed every night to keep our immune system going. Kids are in like sports before we go to any competition. I'm like, you're taking a shot in the morning and we're drinking lattes at night, right? Just double up on it. So again, it makes a difference. Long term, it does make a difference.
Okay, we're going to talk about some recipes and health benefits in a few minutes, but I want to go back to where they are all sourced because this is really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an area, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to have you guys tell me. Tell me more about the area in. I don't want to say the name because I'm going to totally screw it up.
Hmm.
Northeast
Meghalaya.
Meghallia.
India,
Meghallia.
In Northeast India,
Meghalaya.
Yeah.
Meghalaya. And it actually took Molly and I several months to say it right ourselves because we talked to different people and they pronounce it in different ways. But then I actually started going to YouTube videos of people from there and how they were saying, like Molly, Meghalaya. That's how you say it, Meghalaya.
Meghalaya.
Um,
That's a
no,
pretty name. That would be a pretty name for a daughter.
yeah, right.
I'm just putting it out there, everyone.
Yeah, and actually Mega is an Indian name. So but yeah, so kind of Meghalaya. So Meghalaya is Northeast India. It's on the very tip of India, like borders Bhutan in that area. It is actually one of the most cleanest places in the entire world because the environment's clean, the water is clean, and the water is because it is actually known as the wettest place in the entire world. And I'm not just saying that. You can go look it up. Meghalaya is the wettest place. It rains about 80% of the time there.
Oh, wow.
And because of the rainfall, the environment is clean because it's flushing everything out.
Yeah.
There's tons of waterfalls there, beautiful scenery. But the
Hmm.
most important thing is the soil.
Mhm.
Because of this clean environment, the soil is really rich and free of all those chemicals that are just naturally in the air. So
Mm.
because of the way the soil is, because of that nutrient dense again soil that it's growing in,
Mhm.
it makes it just such a perfect environment for these ingredients to grow naturally. And that's one of the important things that we understood is we didn't want our ingredients to have preservatives or
Mhm.
chemicals. We even asked our farmers, they were like, maybe put something in it so it lasts longer because natural ingredients aren't going to last as long. And they're like, no, if that's what you
Mhm.
want, we're not working with you. So that actually encouraged us to say, we're working with the right farmers, right?
Yeah.
So Meghalaya, the people of Meghalaya, they're called the Khasi people. They
Mhm.
believe in traditional farming methods, right? And you really can't find that anywhere anymore because everybody is trying to mass produce.
Mhm.
They don't believe in mass production, right? They've got their family farms, they are doing things the way they want to. It is all chemical and preservative free. You're not using any pesticides. It really does give you that feeling that you are eating something completely clean. There's not too many places in the world that are doing that, right? That are trying to stay contained, that are trying to not produce in the masses
Mhm.
for financial reasons, right? So that's actually one of the main reasons that we like it. And it's a matriarchal society, which actually supports our women-owned small business, right?
Love that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yay,
we
Kasi
found that out
people.
later, but it's also a great reason, right, to support that community.
Absolutely. I mean, to me, this is like kind of a marriage made in heaven, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything just, fell into place, obviously with some research, but it seemed to have fallen into place
Yeah.
for the right and all for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So exciting. Okay.
Yep.
So, wow. Like
Yep.
the cleanest place. And I, we think here, we eat organic and everything is perfect. Even here, organic food can still be tainted because there are other farms,
Oh yeah.
and when you talk about the rainwater, some of that pesticides is, kind of going down the hill and could
Yeah.
affect. So it's amazing that, like you said, there's really no other place
No.
in the world that can be this clean and pure.
Yeah, and that's what we learned. For me, I learned, and my dad loves gardening. Like he tells me all this stuff, right? But it's interesting that there's lead in the air, right? Because there's different pollutions in the air. That lead absorbs into the ground. And so when you test an ingredient and it's got traces of lead in it, it's because the environment it grows in. Because you're not purposely putting lead in the soil or lead in your as fillers, right? It's really the environment that makes the difference of making that. And to your point, organic, do you really know it's organic? Are you looking at the labels? Have you researched where it's coming from? Right? I mean, there's again many articles out there about do you
Mhm.
really know what you're eating? We were
Mhm.
actually mentioned in the Huffington Post a couple of weeks
That's
ago, and
exciting. We'll put that
yeah,
link in the show notes for everybody to read.
yeah, and that was actually the header or the title of the article is like, do you really know, right? What's in your turmeric? Because it's all about turmeric.
Mhm.
But that was really exciting, right? Because people are starting to realize
Yeah.
that they can't just think they're eating organic because they may not be.
Mhm.
And it's kind of easy to tell the high quality of this particular turmeric too, because you don't have the bitter aftertaste. You get a lot of the other turmerics. Because I was never that big on turmeric because you put a little bit too much, it's got this nasty
Mhm.
bitter aftertaste. With
Yeah,
this one, you really don't get much of
Yeah,
that. So you can definitely tell when you taste it.
I
yeah,
love it. This is
Yeah.
amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so we talk about these superfoods. We're talking about these four superfoods. Specifically, we're focusing on turmeric, but of course, the others are equally as important.
yes.
Let's talk about why they're superfoods and how they help us be healthier. They kind of tie in, as women as we age, why that's important.
No, absolutely. And I think like we think they are definitely superfood ingredients because first of all the benefits you get from there. I mean, they are powerful anti-inflammatory benefits, they have antioxidants, they help your gut health. And all it takes is a little bit to put in your food to get all those benefits. So, so for me, like my issue was gut health before. So, since I've started incorporating these, and it's easy incorporations too, like I put them in my smoothies after my walk. We put it in a coffee. It helps my gut. It helps my inflammation. And we all know as we get older, like I used to wake up like, why do my joints hurt? No reason at all, right? So, but since
Mhm.
I've started implementing these ingredients in my diet, I don't have those pains
Yeah.
in the morning when I wake up. So
Yeah.
that's why we like to call it superfoods, is because of all the powerful nutritious benefits in each and every one of the products.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
what
as
you
we
just
talk,
mentioned, oh, sorry,
Mhm,
Ushma, let me just keep that thought.
mhm.
One of the things that most menopausal women, and when I say menopausal, I'm talking perimenopause women
Right,
40 to
right,
65, right?
right.
We don't realize that
Mhm.
actually the joint pain is
Yeah.
actually a symptom of menopause.
yep,
Yes.
Nobody
yep,
tells us that,
no, they don't.
right? You go to the doctor when it's really bad and they want to give you a cortisone shot or whatever. And here we are in our, in our kitchens, we could have the perfect antidote with
Yeah.
the turmeric.
Superfoods. Well, and so, to add to that, we start out with these four. We've actually incorporated two more ingredients, cinnamon and cardamom. And I bring that up because premenopausal women, again, we're all going to go through it. We're all going through it. Um,
Mhm.
cinnamon, especially the cinnamon that comes from these three hills in Megalia, we call it our three hills aromatic cinnamon. Um, it's actually really proven to regulate your blood sugar. Cinnamon does anyway, but because of the content of all the nutrients in this specific cinnamon, it kind of improves that insulin sensitivity. It supports hormonal balance.
Mhm.
And then cardamom, right? Cardamon's another one. It's easiest PMS pains. And again, when you're going through you've got cramps, you're feeling different, your stomach
Mhm.
hurt, like everything you're going through, you're feeling your hormones, right? And cardamom actually it reduces stress. It does help you calm down when you eat it. And again, eating the pure one. So
Mhm.
we call ours pure calming cardamom on our website. And then the long pepper, like Molly said, it's digestion. It also helps with bloating, right?
Mhm.
Like as you're going through some of these symptoms, it does
Mhm.
boost your metabolism, but it also helps with bloating. It's great. And the
Mhm.
ginger, just going through every single one of them, like why is it superfoods and how is it related to menopause, right?
Mhm.
So even the ginger, it's known to reduce inflammation. It supports
Mhm.
your liver. It boosts your mental health. That's the other thing, right? Like as much as you can take in of maca ginger, it really does help with your mental space. And I say that like I've got teenage daughters. We're all going through this stuff. Love them, but a working mom, it's
Yeah.
busy. Um, I love our maca ginger. I incorporate it into my tea, into my eggs, into everything. It just tastes better. It's not got that ginger flavor that everybody thinks it does.
Yeah, it could be, which can be really intense.
Yeah.
Not and yeah, intense. I think that's the word.
Hmm.
Um, I love it because we love the flavor, and
Right.
it does. It's still the ginger is the where is it right here? The Makir ginger. It's very flavorful,
Yeah.
Right.
but it's not that bite that you get when you buy
Yeah.
ginger. Now,
Yeah.
something you said a second ago, Ushma, I think is really important to touch on. Again, when it comes to mental health, um, perimenopausal women.
Mhm.
I think it's something and I have to go back to everybody. I have to go back to the actual statistics. 80% of perimenopausal women who go to their doctor who are complaining about mood issues, stress, those kinds of things, are given a prescription for antidepressants.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, the doctor 9 out of 10 times doesn't understand that this could be a part of the perimenopausal symptom. You know, the hormones are up and down all the time. Starts
Right.
when we're teenagers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like it never really stops. There's always something going on. So I think it's really important to realize that there are ways to incorporate these amazing superfoods, specifically as we're talking about the Makir ginger,
Mhm.
to help with our mood and our anxiety and stress and all of those things. And I really wish I did know about cardamom when I was a teenager. That would have been really helpful.
Yeah.
And from a lot of stuff I read too, a lot of that comes from gut health, right? Like how you feel. A lot of that stems from gut health. So incorporating market ginger and Lacadon turmeric, it helps with that. And when your gut health, when you've kind of fixed that, a lot of the other issues take care of themselves too.
They
Mentally,
do.
like
Yeah.
your gut has a lot to do with your mental state. So there is
Yep,
definitely,
absolutely.
yeah. And yeah, a
The
lot
gut
of pepper.
brain connection.
Yes.
I mean, they're finding more and more. I actually am reading a book upstairs that basically talks about how healing your gut heals your brain.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's this, some of the simplest things like we're talking about here. Yes, a lot of people have to clean up their diets, right?
Yeah.
I always say, I'm an 80-20 person with most of the things that I do, especially with eating. Friday night is date night. I'm going to
Right.
go enjoy my meal,
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
it may be. It
Yeah.
may not always be the best choice, but for the one meal that I'm going out to have somebody else cook it,
Go
Yeah.
enjoy it.
great. But
Yeah.
then the rest of the time when I'm home, when we're home, these are great ways to incorporate all
Hmm.
the good stuff that we need. Cleaning up our diets could really mean, adding some um, Lacodon turmeric
Right.
on a daily basis. And both of you have given us ideas how you use the turmeric in different ways,
Yeah.
adding it to the smoothies, adding it to a turmeric shot.
Yes.
Hmm.
You see those, at Whole Foods and whatever the organic food stores are. You see them and you kind of go, all right, what's really in it? I know it's supposed to be good for me, but what's in that?
Yeah, like what's
As
in that and,
opposed
and
to
how do I
maybe,
use it, right? I mean, those are, I think, the most common ways is a smoothie or what, but the idea too is, and we've got some recipes on our website, you can put it in your soups, you can
Mhm.
put it in your marinades. We make my daughter who likes to cook, like she's curated a lot of our recipes for us, right? She made with the ginger and the turmeric, she made a dressing out of it.
Mhm.
The perilla, we make protein bagels because perilla is really high in protein. It's everyday foods, right? You're feeding these things to your family. Just use these ingredients versus what you're using, right?
Yep.
So many easy ways. Like yesterday morning, I posted a quick story that I toasted bread, put some butter on it, and I sprinkled our cinnamon on it. And because of the sweetness of the cinnamon, usually you put sugar on like a cinnamon toast. I didn't even need the sugar, right? I just sprinkled some cinnamon on it, and that was my breakfast, right? Again, simple, easy ways to incorporate
Mhm.
good ingredients into your diet.
Yeah.
You don't have to change your lifestyle at all.
Yeah, like for us for brunch, my family every Sunday we do like a tofu scramble, and I literally use most of our ingredients in our tofu scramble, and it comes out delicious. And it's nothing, crazy. It's nothing hard. It's nothing extraordinary. It's just a quick meal that's just very nutritious and healthy.
Yep.
you both bring a very good point. And we touched on this earlier,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to mention, you don't have to change your entire lifestyle.
Right.
You don't have to make difficult
Yeah.
meals. These are
Right.
just what simple foods that you make at home, just little additives, little tweaks.
Right.
If you're in the kitchen and you have, you're making a rice dish,
Right.
what do you make? Or if you're just making rice, how boring is just plain old rice? A
Right.
little flavor to it.
Yeah. Add the
So it
pepper,
doesn't
right?
have
Salt
to
and
be
pepper.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, this is really about, these are great products that really it's all about healthy lifestyle, healthy gut health,
Yes.
Right.
so you can feel good. You definitely lower inflammation and lower risk of disease.
Yeah.
Yes.
We know it, in the US, we have an epidemic. We have epidemics everywhere, right? We have type
Right.
2 diabetes, we have obesity, we have cardiovascular disease. And it's very hard for people to say, okay, I have to change everything. These are
Right.
such Easy, simple, beautiful ways to start making those little changes.
Yeah,
Little steps in the right direction are so important, and they get you a lot farther, a lot closer to where you want to be when it
Exactly.
comes to health
yeah,
than, a step in the, one step in the wrong direction will keep you going in the wrong direction.
yeah,
But little steps forward will absolutely get you where you want to go.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's for us women, especially as we go through these stages in life, but it's
Mhm,
also for the rest of the family, right? People have asked us, like, oh, can my children eat this? Of course they
Hmm.
can. Get them
Hmm.
on it, get started earlier, right? Start building
mhm,
that immune system. The sooner the better, right? It's for everyone. It's
mhm.
not just for women or somebody who's getting older or somebody who's got arthritis or somebody who's got cancer, right? We've had a lot of like a couple of my friends, they've gone through breast cancer and they love our stuff. It's especially because of the anti-inflammatory nature,
Mhm.
right? They love our stuff. And again, we're not curing cancer, but it's helping the symptoms is what it is,
Mhm.
right? So
It's more
it's
preventative.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's for everyone.
And the beautiful thing is, these are, traditional ingredients. You
Hmm.
know, they're not exotic. We see them, we use them. We
Right.
just don't necessarily know that what we've been using is the best. Now we know
Yeah.
how to find the cleanest, the most ethically sourced, the most pure when it
Yeah.
comes to these ingredients. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, the turmeric is one we've talked about a lot. We talked a little bit about the ginger. I want to ask you again. I want to ask about a little bit more about the pepper, wild pepper. I need a little bit more of this. Um, we know that, when we talk about gut health, pepper,
Hmm.
inflammation, um,
Hmm.
it says it is high in pepperin.
Hmm.
Explain what pepperin is to our group.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Ushma, you want to take that one?
Yep. So it's again, it's the most potent component nutrient that is found in a pepper, right? Your peppercorns has it too. And the reason why wild long pepper is much more, vibrant with the peppermint in it is because of the area it's grown in. This area is known for rich nutrients
Mhm.
and it's absorbed into this pepper that's grown. There's several different types of wild long pepper, and we just recently learned that there's going to be a geographical indication tag around that too. And they're going to actually give it a proper name. It's called peppermint. There's so many different names for it. But they're actually going to give it its real name. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the agriculture community in Meghalaya around all their products that they're producing. But yeah, the peppermint is that main component that helps with inflammation, that helps with your gut, that helps with absorbing other nutrients. So that's the most important thing too, right? So
Very good point.
if you're eating ginger or especially turmeric, always pair it with pepper. It
Hmm.
sometimes makes you think that's why you have salt and pepper on the table. So you put the pepper in everything, right? Pepper is an everyday ingredient.
Hmm.
Add that pepper because anything else that you're eating, that peppermint will help those other nutrients absorb into your bloodstream even faster. It's got a higher component of it, a higher percentage of it.
Wonderful.
It's really important to eat this pepper.
And the long
Yes.
paper, the way sometimes I take it myself, I give it to the kids, is I just sprinkle a little bit on honey and I just suck on it. It's the
Yeah, that's
most
a really,
natural way to help your respiratory issues. Or if you're about to get a cough or you're struggling with a cold, it's the best way
yeah.
to incorporate that, especially when you're getting the sniffles.
Yeah, growing up, my
Interesting.
grandmother always said that, like, just put honey on a teaspoon and put some
Yeah.
pepper or turmeric on it and just let her lick it, right? Because little kids aren't gonna eat turmeric, right? But why? Why am I eating turmeric or pepper? But this is why, right? Now we're learning.
Hmm.
So yeah, just putting it on a teaspoon and taking it down.
Yeah.
I learn something new every day. Ladies, tell me, what have we not touched on that you want to talk about?
Well, I just want to just emphasize the fact that all these ingredients are for everyone, no matter what your background, no matter what your dietary restrictions, no matter what kind of lifestyle you lead. For us, it's all about balance, you know. And my grandmother, I call her Audrey, she lived till she was 96 years old. And
Oh,
I
Aji,
still,
woo!
yeah, I mean, she passed a couple of years ago, but that's how long she lived. And she was one of the women I look up to. You know, like she was amazing, very active. And one thing that she said always, you know, it still sticks to me up to this point, is she said, eat everything in balance. Eat good food, though. Make sure your ingredients in your food are good. Don't necessarily limit yourself. Just eat well. And that kind of stuck with me. And I think to eat well, you have to have clean, good ingredients.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My
Yeah.
phrase is always eat real food,
Yes.
which, and
Absolutely.
it's amazing how in this day and age we don't always know what that means.
Right.
It's the, again, like you're saying, those pure ingredients, those veggies and fruits, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, um, lean meats and fatty fish for
Yeah.
those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say
Um,
the most important thing is ask questions.
Yes.
Don't just take it for what it is. If they say
mm,
organic, how is it organic? If they say it's a superfood, how is it a superfood?
mhm,
If they say it comes from somewhere, well, why does it come from there, right?
right.
Make sure you ask questions because at the end of the day, your body is your temple and you need to make sure you're putting the right things in it. So
Yep.
ask questions.
I love that. I love that. Do your research. You're right. We get one body. Um, and we are the only ones responsible for what happens to
Right.
ourselves.
Yeah.
When you're not a child anymore, it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So my grandmother, she actually just turned 92. So I just wanted to put out there, and she takes her own version because she's been doing it for years, and now she uses our medley. But she came and spent the night with me a couple of months ago, and she got out her medley, and I'm like, no, eat ours. And I showed her the difference, and she automatically was like, oh, yours looks so much better and
Mhm.
tastes so much better. And this is coming from a 92-year-old grandmother who's lived through this, right?
Mhm.
These are the women who's, like Molly said, told us to eat and drink this, but we didn't know why.
Yeah.
She's 92 and she still flies back and forth from New York to Atlanta to Kentucky to where all our friends, our family
That's
is. So,
amazing.
right, at 92. And it's possible, right?
Mhm. So really, one of the things that we're talking about here, so we're talking about our health. We've talked about gut health and these superfoods. End result is really how you feel. Now, we
That's right.
never know how long we're going to live, but it really
Yeah,
is about how well we're going to
yeah,
live.
yeah,
Yeah.
And these two examples of your grandmothers are truly examples of women who have been, like you said, using these incredible ingredients now to a more pure level,
yeah,
and they lived well and well into their 90s. That's
yeah.
incredible. So I do want to ask, is there anything in particular right now that you guys are promoting that you want to talk about? Um, Obviously, we'll definitely put any links in the show notes for people to go to the website to get product, to get the recipes. I'm excited to see some new recipes from your daughter, Ushma.
She
No
just made our
pressure on
waffles
her.
the other day. It's waffles, right? Like, who doesn't like a waffle? She actually puts our ginger, cinnamon, and turmeric. So we call it our triple power waffles. And she makes them and keeps them on the side and takes one to school every day. Like, puts it in the microwave and eats it. Like, it's just an easy way to get those three ingredients into your body every day, right?
All right, I'm going to do that tomorrow
Yeah.
morning. Oh,
Yeah. Put
thank
all
you.
of this,
See,
yeah.
see,
Oh,
I asked for it and you gave it to me.
oh, and on a side note, I'd just like to mention medley tastes pretty good because my 18-year-old boy, he went to college his first year.
Okay.
He's at school, he's in a dorm, and he actually, and I was shocked, honestly. He asked me, Mom, can I take the immunity boosting medley to school with me? You know, he has a microwave and all that. I was like, what? Like, I didn't expect that from an 18-year-old. He's like, yeah, mom, can I take it to school? I'll drink it every day. I like it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So it was a proud moment, you know. I was like,
No, proud mom moment. I love it. That actually, that's a good, I'm glad that you say that because, there are three, women, middle-aged women here. Middle-aged, I
right.
hate that word.
Yeah.
We're not children anymore, but
We're
we're not old
thriving.
farts either. We're,
Yes.
three women.
Yeah.
And so, our tastes are different, but you're right. Our teenagers, even our 20 somethings,
Yeah.
Mhm.
if we teach them, hopefully we could get them moving forward when they're young. But if
Yes.
we can get them when they're, at these ages where
Well, they're
they
forming
can
habits.
learn and Mhm.
You're right. They're forming habits, right? And
Yeah.
this just make this a habit. So, going back to your question about promoting, what we would just like to promote is all of our ingredients because it's wellness, but we do put a sample pack together. We call it a sample pack, but we call it our wellness essentials kit.
Mhm.
So our first, well, we put 6 ingredients in there, a medley, pepper, cinnamon, turmeric, cinnamon, I said that, perilla and
Pepper,
black pepper.
like pepper.
And they come in smaller sizes. So it's a way for somebody to try everything,
Mhm.
I think
right?
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just try it because you may like one, you may not like the other. One of the ingredients may fit into your daily life, another one may not.
Mhm.
I was just telling Molly this morning, like we're getting orders now of people who have purchased the essentials kit,
Mhm.
and now they're coming back and buying the things that they really liked at a larger volume. So
Mhm.
it's that's what, again, it's the only way to really figure out what's going to work for you.
Right. You have to try it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, so we'll definitely make sure we have a link to that. Thank you, thank you. This is fantastic. Anything else before we go?
I was going to say thank you for
Thank
speaking
you.
to us about, what we're passionate about and what we're trying to, the word that we're trying to spread, right? Like just eat healthy. So thank you for giving us the platform to be able to bring humble origins superfoods to your people, to your audience.
Absolutely. What I really I foresee us, working together, in the future. Anytime, you guys have something new, let me know. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
Let's share it with, our audience, your audience. And let's get healthy together.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
actually
Thank
ordering
you so
some new, yeah, I was gonna say we're actually ordering some new samples today. So stay tuned. There will be some new ingredients that are coming soon.
much.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned, everyone. Thank you, Ushma. Molly, thank you so much. This has been lovely. I do look forward to another conversation with you too soon. Um, to our listeners, thank you for listening to Healthy Living, Happy Life podcast. We are here every Wednesday, and sometimes, depending on where you are, at 12 p.m. Pacific time is when I know the podcast goes live, anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend, send me a comment. If you have any questions, certainly put those in the comments. You'll find this on podcast and also on YouTube. Thank you. Thank you. Until next time, everyone, healthy living, happy life. Have a great week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.